Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Got a lot of good stuff going on tonight. So, is there anybody here that is new, first time? All right. So, how did you find us? I wouldn't admit that in public, okay? Um, so, so you guys saw the hands go up after the meeting. Make yourself known to them, make them welcome. So, a lot of stuff going on as always. Tomorrow, we've got the opening reception for our Chagrin Falls Library in the Details reception for their exhibit. That opens tomorrow, the next day. So, this is important, guys. Heads up. Tuesday, we had our mentor rollout. We only do this twice a year. So, we had a rollout where all the mentors came up and explained how they mentee people and so forth. And some people could sign up if they were in the room. If they're not in the room, it goes online. So you see right here the deadline. Whoops, you can't see it now. The deadline is September 7th at 9 o'clock. So this is our website. Those of you who don't recognize it, you go into programs, you get this page. These three are hot links. So if you want to watch the video that happened Tuesday, you can just hit that button. Or if you just want to read the mentor bios, which includes how they mentor and so forth, you hit that. And then if you want to sign up to get a mentor, you go with that one. So highly recommend you do that. We only do it twice a year. And then Sunday we have the Tunnels of Towers, really cool. These guys suit up in their if they're policemen or firemen, whatever, and do a 5K run and walk, leaving Medina Square around 8 o'clock. And then we have a Zoom meeting next Friday with John Scalera, bird feeding photography, pretty much in time or past Labor Day. We've felt a few cool days, so people are probably getting ready with their bird feeders. So he'll give us some ideas on that. And this one is really neat. By the way, our field trip getter is here. Kim is here in the room. If you want to ask her more, she would be able to tell you sitting in the next back row there. So this is kind of a really unique thing that's got everything from music and a farmer's market and workshop, very family friendly. And it happens September 13th. So that's next Saturday from 1 to 9. And then our very popular Back to the Wild, the registration is now open. So you can sign up. You must be a member. You must sign up through the website. It's $20 per person, members only. So this is going to wake everybody up. I've decided it's about time that we should have a swap meet. People are, yeah. So here's the details. The details are to follow. I'll give you these details. We're going to do it in the police room. I've got a possible time, but we're still ironing out any possible wrinkles. But there's a couple things you need to know. Number one, you have to be a CPS member. And number two, it says photo equipment. That doesn't mean you can take a picture of your car you're trying to sell and bring that in. It's actually got to be photo related equipment. So we're going to do that swap meet November 15th. And then finally, we have our own Eric Botsky here. I did. Then it's spelled wrong in all my contacts.
An H at the end. Not a K.
Oh my gosh. Will you still talk? Will you speak still? Okay. All right.
We'll try this.
Okay.
Okay. All right, he's going to bring up my presentation. There we go. So I'm going to be talking about my trip to Kenya and amazing Africa in general. But before I start, I want to hammer home the mentorship program. We still have spots open, and if you get even half as much out of mentoring, being a mentee, as I had, it will be life-changing. Okay, so sign up to be a mentee. So first, we're going to start off with a little joke. Our guide told us some jokes about the animals, and my favorite was about the hyenas. And he said, whenever you see a hyena, you say, hyena. So, there you go. That's me. You already saw a picture. He's same one. and the gear I took. I took an R5 Mark II, Canon, full frame, Pro Series camera, an R7 crop sensor, and the two main lenses I used was a Canon 100 to 300 2.8 and a Canon 100 to 500 f4 to f7.1. Those were perfect. Honestly, the 100 to 300 was used rarely. 100 to 500 was actually the perfect length due to, oh, I guess we're going to talk about Kenya. I did not, thought I was going to mention the guest, or Jeff, our guide. Just in case anyone was unaware, because I still couldn't point it out on a map, Kenya is that green spot on Africa, which is pretty much right at the equator. So, the schedule of where we went. On Wednesday, we arrived in Nairobi. Thursday, we drove to Lake Naivasha and stayed at Chui Lodge at the Oserengoni Private Wildlife Sanctuary, which is not like you're thinking here, which is a zoo. It is a very large place of land with a fence around it, and the fence is to keep people out, not the animals in. Okay? So very different from what you're thinking of wildlife sanctuary here. We then flew to the Masai Mara and stayed at the amazing Mara camp. Then stayed there for a few days. Flew to Amboseli National Park and stayed at Tawi Lodge. Then from there, we drove back to Nairobi and flew home. It's a very long flight. I will tell you that much. But also a safari in Africa. It is a trip. I would never call it a vacation. I slept through that entire 16-hour flight home because of how much we did. And just to give you an idea of where these places are, that's the kind of trapezoid of where we were. Now, to start off our trip, this is Jeff Maines. He is an amazing guide. Our trip would not have been half of what it was without him. He's an amazing photographer. So he didn't take us to just see places to take pictures of the animals. See them. He put us in position to take their picture. So he's a rally car driver in his off time, tour guide and planner, owner of Amazing Africa Tours and Amazing Mara Camp. And I'm going to put this in there for his benefit. Don't trust it. He is a dad joke extraordinaire. Our transportation. Bottom left is what we rode around in. That is actually a picture in the center that one of my friends and someone who went on the trip with got of the plane that we took from Lake Naivasha to Masai Mara and Mara to Amboseli. That is actually Kilimanjaro in the background. And we also took a hot air balloon ride just to say we could. Honestly, it was beautiful, but there you go. Amazing Mara Camp. It is technically a tent camp. That is what the tents look like. Okay? You're not roughing it. You have running water. I wouldn't drink the water, but it's running. Chui Lodge. Gorgeous little lodges. Tawi Lodge. These lodges were bigger than my apartment. Okay? So, the animals. Saw baboons. They weren't my favorite. They were cute. Watching the babies sit around on the back of the moms was adorable, playing around. They were primarily in Amboseli where we saw them, but they were kind of all over the place. Amboseli is where we cared about them, for the most part. Birds. I'm going to focus on the ones that I actually know the names of, because if I didn't, we'd be here all night. So, bee eater. And birds in general, cheat code with a camera with pre-capture. It really is. You wait for them to do something, you push down the trigger, the shutter, release the rest of the way, and you get what you actually want to take a picture of. that happened half a second ago. So that is a bee eater with a bee in its mouth. Again, wouldn't have been possible without pre-capture. This was at Lake Naivasha with the African fish eagles. Gorgeous birds. We went out on boats, and our guides had pieces of fish or whole fish, I'm not entirely sure, threw them in the water. So I will admit these are pretty staged in somewhat of a sense. But they really came down from trees. They're not trained or anything. We just threw a fish, and because our guide knew what he was doing, he positioned that fish for a specific bird to come down at just the right angle. So not only was it perfect for us to get a picture, the lighting on that bird was perfect as well. We were not shooting into the sun. We were not shooting into shadows. He did everything he could to make sure our picture was perfect. That was in his control. Flamingos. These were at Amboseli. We weren't really expecting to see many of them. There was tons, and we got to get them in flight, which is, I wasn't actually aware they flew because all I've ever seen them is at the zoo. And they still look kind of wonky. I'm still not sure how they fly, but they flew. Ostriches. We saw these mostly in Serengoni is where we focused on them. They were one of the first birds we saw. They're not my favorite, but I knew their name and I needed to fill this out somehow. So, secretary birds. They are gorgeous. We weren't sure we were going to see them. Our Summer, the one who took the picture of the plane, they were her gotcha bird. They are what got her into photography and made her want to go on a safari. We saw them, and they were amazing. And honestly, the look on her face could have made the trip worth it for me, to be honest, because she was that happy to see them and get their picture. Oh, I hit the wrong button. We saw them first thing in the morning. So we got nice silhouettes of them flying and standing on the tree. And just good golden light. And my mom's favorite bird, the lilac-breasted roller. Again, pre-capture was cheating on them, but they really are that vibrant. That isn't really played with. And they're called rollers because they will do barrel rolls in the air to catch bugs and things. We also got lucky to see several birds eating things off the ground or in the water, including the hornbill and the spoonbill. It's really cool. If you actually look, I think it's this button right there. There's a little tadpole or something that he scooped out of the water and ate. So, it's less obvious on the hornbill, but that's a bug. Cape buffalo, I think that's what there are. We actually saw these two fighting. We had unbelievable luck. Saw things that people don't see. We'll get to that later. But this was probably the first thing that we saw that made our guide go, wow, I haven't seen that in years. And that wasn't the last time he said it. These are cute. Our guide thought they were common and just kind of blew them off. They're adorable. They're little tiny deer that probably come up to my knee, probably lower. And yes, that name is pronounced exactly like you think it is. It is Dick Dick. And then we saw giraffes. Lots of little baby giraffes, lots of giraffes in golden light. It was amazing. No fence in the background to see the babies. I know If any of you have been to the zoo, there's a baby giraffe that they just named, I think it's Zeke? Zane. They named it Zane. Yeah, I've tried. You're gonna get fence. No fence. Now begins the luck of our trip. We had 3 days of 3 cat trick days. So we saw 3 different cats, types of cats, not 3 different individual cats, species, 3 times over our trip, which our guide said he goes on 10-day safaris where he doesn't see all 3 the entire trip. We saw all 3 on 3 separate days. Leopards. They're probably my favorite of the cats. They're just gorgeous. They hide in the grass. They're fast. But so I enjoyed them a ton, and it was just a treat to see any big cat in the wild. But my favorite part was seeing Leluca and her cub, Alomanyok, which means, I believe if I remember this right, the blessing or the lucky one. I'd have to check that. They mean sort of the same thing. I got corrected when I called it wrong when I posted about him, but then lions. We had lions all over the place, and they were gorgeous. You wouldn't believe how gorgeous a lion can be just by looking at the zoo. I personally, at the zoo, find them boring because they're plain. They just lay around. Watching them walk around, once in a lifetime experience, and I hope to see them again. This is one of the lucky ones. We went to Amboseli. We were told this is probably, when we got on the plane, before we got on the plane, he told us these cheetahs are probably the last big cats you're going to see the rest of your trip. That night, we were driving back from looking for an elephant. We saw an entire pride of lions with babies on Amboseli in the private reserve. And again, another time he said, I didn't know this would happen. I didn't think it would be possible to happen. Cheetahs. The one downside that our trip is that we did not see them run. We did not see a cheetah run or chase or hunt. We saw it wait to try and hunt, but we kind of got scared, and the animals, the prey kind of ran away. So, but they're gorgeous animals. We did see them walk around, and it's amazing to see these animals without just in a wide open area. I love the zoo. You know me, I can go on and on about the zoo, but seeing the same animals in the wild, nothing compares. Elephants, more standard animals, but we saw them walking in front of Kilimanjaro. Again, the fact that we saw Kilimanjaro is apparently another one of those, oh my God, I did not know that we were going to be able to do this. Our guide was stunned. We had, 3 or 4 days of seeing Kili? They don't see it 3 or 4 times a year. So, jackals. I love these guys. They're so cute, personally. I don't know why. They make me happy. They have gorgeous eyes, beautiful texture in their fur. They're cute. So, we didn't get tons of pictures of them. We could have. But it was always fun to see them just walking around. We saw them sort of on a hunt. We heard them a lot the one night. I think it was them. One of the nights in Masai Mara, I don't remember the name of the leopard, but she had a kill pretty much across the river from our camp. And we heard it at 2 a.m. And then the jackals found it. And we heard that too. And sadly, we don't think the leopard got much of that kill, but the jackals sure did have fun. Wildebeest. They're okay. It's a common animal for them. Won't see one here, but they're still very interesting to take pictures of and well worth taking pictures of. Getting a nice silhouette with that beard, it's a dream shot. Topi, the blue jeans antelope. You notice it's kind of hard to tell in the pictures, but that's bluish. So they're known as the blue jean antelope. They're interesting. We didn't get tons of pictures of them. I'm not sure why. I don't know if they just weren't photogenic for us or Jeff thought they were common, which they kind of were. But the ones that we did get were very spectacular. Oh, they're the cheetah's favorite food, I was reminded. And zebras. We saw these all over the place. Gorgeous animals. They just lend themselves to black and white. They really do. And they were always fun to see. And the sun. You'd be amazed at how pretty the sun is in somewhere you're not used to seeing it. Probably my favorite fun fact is when you're on the equator, the sun doesn't rise at an angle or a curve. It goes straight up and down. So you sit down, you plant your camera at the thing where it's at, because it's going to go up it and keep going straight up. You don't have to keep moving to keep it in line with your subject. If you're trying to make it come up over something, you just sit and wait. So, and the sky was just generally impressive. Every time we looked up, there was a new thing in the sky, way to look at the sky. Never once was it boring and straight blue for the most part. There was days it was hot, but there was probably still clouds in the sky that were just amazing to look at. Now, onto the animals that our guide could not stress enough that people don't see these. Even in Africa, they don't get seen. Aardvark. These are nocturnal. We saw them about 5 o'clock, golden hour light, walked around him to make sure we didn't scare him off. We're quiet. We didn't get great pictures, at least I didn't. But again, I've talked to people who've been on safari several times. They don't see these because they're nocturnal. And if you do, you're not getting a picture of them. It's pitch black. So. Grevy's zebra. I had to call it that way just to make Jeff smile. He pronounced it zebra. So Grevy zebras are a specific type of zebra that are not known to be where we were. We saw them at Serengeti, and they have Mickey Mouse ears. So if you notice in the other zebras, the ears were pointy. These are very round and Mickey Mousey. They were fun. We saw 4 of them, but again, it was still something that you don't see. Craig. Craig is a super tusker elephant. That means that each one of his tusks weighs over 100 pounds. Okay. He is one of very few, and we were lucky enough that he was in our private reserve in Amboseli. So we were able to get out, get on the ground, take his picture. I told Mick I would tell this story. Our guide was so sure of himself, and with reason. He sat us down and said, Craig's going to walk right on past you. He was so on the money. Craig got pissed we were that close to him. We did not touch him. We were not going to. He was angry that we were in his way. We set up 15 minutes before he was anywhere even visible to us. And we were just in his line. And he got close enough that if we had a death wish, and Jeff would probably be the one to kill us if Craig didn't, we could have touched him. He was that close. But he was gorgeous. You don't understand the power of these animals until you are that close to them without bars. Like, you see them at the zoo and you know they're large. When you see him that close without anything between you and him, it's a whole nother feeling. A Narnia trogon. This is a bird that very few birders in Africa see. We were driving down. One of the other people in our Range Rover, the safari vehicle was like, I saw a purple bird. Like, our guide stopped so fast he flung us all forward into the seat in front of us and reversed. And his wife, who is one of the top 3 birders in Africa, was like, you saw what on my land? Because her family is actually owns the Oserengoni. And she was amazed. Ross's Tarako. She wanted to kill me when I got that shot. Okay. Jeff said, take a picture of that bird. Frantically. Like, we're like, what's so special? It looks like a black bird. Because these were pretty far away. This is a pretty decent crop. He's like, get that bird. And then did anyone get the bird in the front? Because there was 2 birds. One was chasing this one. It's like, I'm like, yeah. Looks interesting, but we weren't sure. He's like, you don't see these. The number 3 birder in Africa wanted to kill me specifically because she has never seen it. And our guide had never gotten its picture. He's seen it twice, I think. And now, lessons learned. I learned a lot on that trip about photography and safaris. Don't rent a lens unless you know how to use it. Okay? I rented that 100 to 300. I used it the first 2 days and was upset because I wasn't using it right. I stopped using it, even. When I got home and looked at the pictures where I used it at 2.8, where it's supposed to be used, gorgeous pictures, and I'm upset that I didn't try more. But I was using it like I was shooting at the zoo. They're close enough that 2.8 is going to chop off ears with your depth of field. Trust your skills. Okay? If you know what you're doing, do it. Your guide is there to tell you how to, if he's a photographer or she, they're going to tell you how to get a shot. Okay? They're going to make sure you don't miss your shot and that it's acceptable and you can edit it. We learned that, yes, he's going to get us a shot. Trust your skills. You'll get the shot you want. Okay? You'll be able to get the shot you want, the shot you know you can get, and the shot you won't have to edit to make look the way you want it to. 2 working and tested cameras. And make sure you do this before you go. My R7, when we were close enough to Craig to touch him, yeah, he almost got a free R7. It crashed 3 times during that 5-minute encounter, and I nearly threw it. So, I'm still not sure what was wrong with it, but it was very upsetting. Use your phone. Don't be afraid of it. It is faster to pull out your phone, hit the button to use your camera when the animal comes too close to you than it is to switch a lens. It's also safer. You're going to get dust in your camera if you switch a lens out in the field. It is not a might, you will. no matter if you have a shield on your camera or careful, hold it upside down, whatever, you're going to get dust in there. It is very dusty in Africa. Don't be afraid of holding down the shutter. Use it. Memory is cheap. Therapy because you missed your shot that you wanted, not so much. And yeah, calling the pictures and picking only the pictures you want, yeah, it takes a while. You're still going to be happier if you have that picture than if you don't. I take lots of pictures. I always have, always will. 10-day trip, 100,000 pictures. Okay? People think that's insane. It probably is. But makes me happy. I got the shots. Some of the other people did not. And one of the most important things, be present. Most people, if you go to Africa, it is a once-in-a-lifetime trip. You're lucky twice. Be present. Be there. Be happy that you're there. Enjoy the moment. Okay? Put down your camera every once in a while if it's something that you're not particularly interested in. Like, probably the reason why I didn't get a lot of pictures of zebras and topies and the common animals, they weren't doing anything. It was just common. So I put down my camera and just watched. It's also because I'm very scatterbrained, I guess is a polite word to say it. I will not be able to make a composition if there's more than 3 things to focus on. So if you notice a lot of these pictures, it was a single animal, 3 if they were close together, like the zebras, because I like to focus on one thing. I don't want to compose my image, or I'm not good at it, so I didn't. I was there and present when we were in a herd of animals because that's what I wanted to do. So if you do go, remember, it's what you want to do. Be present, enjoy your time. And I want to thank everyone who has helped me as a photographer to help me be here. 3 years ago, when I started this club, I would not have gone to Africa. I would not be standing up here. I would not have pictures that I would deem shareable at this point. So there's a lot of mentors that have helped me. Way too many to name, but thank you. Oh, one more thing. Bye, Ina.
If anybody's got questions, raise your hand so we.
How big was your group when you were out on the prairie?
6. I think it was 6 of us. At the beginning there was 6 of us in one vehicle, and then when we got to the end of the Mara trip, we split off into 4 of us in one vehicle, 2 in another, and same thing in Amboseli.
What time of year was it that you went, and how hot was it?
We went in January, which it's kind of hard to describe a season that's on the equator. I think it was considered summer there, though. Yeah, end of their summer. So not quite. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, layers were important. It was end of summer, like she said. But yeah, layers were important. When we went out on that boat, we were kind of chilled when we went out on the boat to see the fish eagles. By midday, we were in shorts and t-shirts.
It was the off season, so when people go in September and August to see the wildebeest migration, there'll be 200 safari vehicles doing that. Here, if there were 10, it was a busy site. So
Yeah.
it's the off season, a lot cheaper. And I've been 3 times, and I've had great great sightings.
Yeah, I think the most vehicles we saw was when we saw Leluca and her cub, and there was probably 15 vehicles at that time. And that was just because it was a special leopard and that had a cub. But everything else, we were pretty alone for the most part.
Rain other than just a minute or two. So,
Yeah,
sorry.
it wasn't very rainy. You can get it to be rainy, but again, another part of our trip that made us lucky is we actually got sent a picture, I think the day after we landed, torrential downpour in the Mara. Like the day after we landed back in Cleveland, like he wasn't able to take a safari vehicle out for like a few days, I think. So,
I really recommend this guide. He's amazing. He was born in Zimbabwe. When they started persecuting white people, he was 22 and had to flee. Then he came back to Kenya and met his wife, and now lives in Kenya, but he's still taking safaris to Zimbabwe, Botswana, Kenya. And he's been a safari guide since he was 16 years old.
yes, I cannot say enough about our guide. It's why I specifically called him out. If you want to go to Africa, I cannot recommend Jeff Mays enough. He knows animal behavior. Give him enough time. That is why we trusted him with Craig. We knew he was going to get us where we need to be and not an inch closer.
And the beauty about the private conservancies, you can get out of the vehicle. And sometimes that's very beneficial. When you're in a government park, you can't get out of the vehicle. You often have to stay on the road. So,
Yes, very much so. Any other questions? Thank you.
I just want to say something before we take a break. Is that what you were going to do, Chris? Yeah. First of all, Eric, one trip and you took all those pictures?
Like I said, there was 100,000 of them for me to go through. Yes,
But all
that was
these
one trip.
gorgeous pictures that we saw tonight in one trip.
That's about half of what I edited, and there's even more that I didn't.
Spectacular work.
Thank you.
Spectacular. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm Dave Saborik. I'm chairman of the Black and White Competition. It is awesome to see so many people here tonight. Oh my gosh. And the piles and piles of pictures that you brought in to be judged. Absolutely amazing. I don't know how long they're going to take back there, but thank you for doing that. Thank you all for participating with us tonight. That's awesome. And I know we have some first timers because some of you need to maybe look at the rules a little more closely as far as preparing your images and labeling them. I know Marge and Jackie had to spend some extra time helping you out a little bit with your preparation and your labels. Everything's in the club's directions, so hopefully you'll be competing again. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you participate. Check out the rules and make sure that you're doing everything you need to do to help this run smoothly. So Dan, any idea how they're doing back there? They'll take a break. Okay, and before we do that, while we have time now, I want to thank Dennis and Rick for taking the pictures, Jackie and Marge for checking everybody in this evening. Bill Keaton and Catherine are back there with the judges doing all the necessary work to keep tabs of the scores. And Denise and Bob are going to handle pictures in here, and Jill and Chris are handling pictures back with the judges. So, and Dan's in charge of everything. So, and Chris, thank you guys all so much. You do an awesome job for the club. Okie doke, we're going to take a break, Chris. And hopefully the judges will be with us soon.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the swap?
No? Seriously, we don't have any other details than what I just told
But
you.
I just want to
Again,
know,
I'm still working.
I have this Durst enlarger that.
No,
Okay.
sorry.
What date was that, say, the date? 15?
15th.
15.
15th of
Okay, I just
November.
want to make sure, I'll put a thing in the snapshot.
Yeah.
I'll just save the
Just
date.
save the date, yeah.
Yeah, details to come.
Yeah, I'm still working here. You know, this is only the second time I've done this. And I'm hoping it's gonna work. He probably doesn't know. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Mr. Computer? You don't have a computer? No, he's trying to.
It's only the second time I've done it,
It's
so.
only the second time he's ever prepped for the slideshow. And then I need the picture of it.
That I can do.
That's a great circle.
I don't feel the heat. The heat I'm feeling is not temperature heat.
Like realized stress heat that
Yeah.
a lot longer that it was quite long. So I might need a little more memory.
This part's easy. It's getting this texture. And I blank the screen so they don't see. I don't know, it's one of those things where I don't know what they did before.
Let me ask you a question. Sure. You know anybody that's been to the PSA National
We're getting there, folks. I'm sorry.
Testing, testing. Hello.
Testing, there we go. Yeah, they told us we weren't allowed to do that anymore. They said they were gonna throw us out. We volunteered, so, well, Bill didn't throw us out, so. Yeah, we already got paid, so, you know, I'm out of here. We're gonna get started. We've heard that before.
All right, we're going to comment on every black and white image. I know we're running a little late this evening, but you know what the heck. Oh yeah, how about we do that? Judges, would you like to introduce yourselves, ladies first?
Oh.
Or Stu? Stu, you should not have been that quick to get up, bud.
You didn't dress up once, so.
Hi, I'm Nancy Ballack. I got promoted, yeah. Okay, I'm first.
I'm two either way.
It was chaotic back there, excuse me. I'm Nancy Ballack. I have been a member here since 2007, and I also teach the environmental portraiture classes here for the CPS, and I'm the new director for the iPhone photography class, which we still have openings for. Yes. I'm checking with Chris. Yes, we still have openings. We had a really good turnout last spring too. It's a lot of fun. In case any of you want to learn how to use your iPhone, it's amazing. It's a good class. So, I think that's about it. Thank you.
I'm I'm Mark Nowak. Yeah, I've been here a few times. I do portrait photography, wedding photography, kids photographies, stuff like that. Nice to be here, though. Oh,
Hi, I'm Stu Pearl. You made the mistake of bringing me back again,
yeah.
but
Yeah, we
no,
voted on it. It was 2-1.
that's nice to be back. I do a lot of volunteer photography for Holden Forest and Gardens, Cleveland Metro Parks, Idea Stream, and whatnot. And I'm currently on the board of the Artist Archives of the Western Reserve. And come on down and see our shows. So, thanks.
And with that, we'll get started.
Okay. All right. I think this is a perfect compositional study that renders very well as a black and white conversion. It's the geometric shapes and the textures of the stone that render very well with a very nice representation of shades of gray. Got some great tonality from little highlight marks on the, some of the brighter rocks down into almost deep black. Square format was very well on this. And the choice of black and white was a good one. Color, I think, would have just distracted from it. And, it was a good eye that put this together.
When Stone Remembers, Bob Kowaleski, 22 points, honorable mention.
Interesting editing on this. Even though it's black and white, there's very little midtones. There's not a lot of grays. You got blacks, you got whites, you got a ton of leading lines in it. It takes your eye and runs it right around that corner. It seems to me it might be like a cruise ship or something, and there's people on the other side of that corner. Maybe it's happy hour or something going down there. But they did a great job of the composition on this. They made sure they had the shadow for the bench is there. Good job.
Scottsdale, Arizona Library, Susan Bestel, 23 points, honorable mention.
This is a very emotional picture of a father or grandfather. In the lighting is beautiful on that. Looks like he's really intense reading something from the newspaper. It's a very, very sweet photo. A nice black and white, nicely rendered. The shadow on the face is beautiful. The lighting looks really good too.
Henry Reading Sports Page, Kent Hill, 22 points, honorable mention.
I believe this is probably a studio portrait, very nicely rendered with very pleasing, flat tones in all the right places, but, just enough highlight in the eyes and the cheeks to give it a nice sense of definition and relief. I would have liked to have seen maybe a little more snoot lighting or highlight lighting on the hair. It's either black or brown, and that would have given it a little more texture and imparted, I think, a little better sense of depth there. Still a nice photograph, and judging by the expression on her face, looks like she's made a nice connection with the photographer.
Young Ballerina, Marge Brady, 22 points, honorable mention.
This is cool. It's great. Whoops, how do I do this? There we go. I'm done. Thank you. This is sweet. The detail in it, the drama in it, the old building. I like it in a black and white. Maybe a few more highlights would have helped it a little bit. But what I really would have done is widen that out. You've got the building coming right down to the edge of the picture. You could always shoot wider and crop in. But it definitely has a story and a feel to it. You did a good job.
Between Light and Shadow, Melanie Plummer, 21 points.
I couldn't take my eyes off of this particular photo. It was just, it was so dynamic with that black background, and then the zebra in the foreground is so sharp and in focus, and with just the black and white on the stripes, it was very dynamic, the whole photo. And then to have that the zebra in the background where it's just a very shallow depth of field, so you know there's another zebra back there, but the one in the foreground really captures your attention. I really like this one.
BOGO half off, Eric Botsky, 21 points.
Characteristically overcast day on the Cuyahoga there in Cleveland. What's nice about a day like this is that cloudy sky is like a nice soft illuminating lens of pretty even light, so it gives you the ability to get texture and geometric detail on the buildings there without having any of the highlights blown out or any of the deep darks go into black shadow there. Get a little sense of motion with the Cuyahoga there. There's some dynamic aspect with the boat going up on it, and the horizontal panoramic shot suits this very well, and it renders very nicely as a black and white.
Cleveland from Clark Street, Lance Mayer, 20 points.
Next. I couldn't figure out what was happening in this picture for a while. I mean, she pulled it up to us, we looked at it closely, and there's some type of a net or cheesecloth or something over this human being. So I took from that there's something hidden, something that is not part of what we should know. The photographer should know what he's thinking or she's thinking. It adds texture to the picture. I'm not sure if it adds the drama to the picture that the person seems to be in. But it's good. It's a good attempt. If it's what the photographer wanted and it says what the photographer wanted, then you did a good job.
Can I know we're only supposed to comment. I'm sorry. Let me just, I know, fire me.
We're still taking
Okay,
points.
I
You're
know,
way ahead.
I know. I thought this photo was amazing. I liked what the photographer decided to do with this, to throw the net over top of the person. Very creative. And the lighting is fantastic with the shadows and light. I really did like this one. Sorry.
That's all right.
Shroud of Let me try that again. Shroud of Abandonment, Chris Bosworth, 23 points, honorable mention.
Being creative. Oh, that's me. This guy almost looks like my brother when I saw it. I love the look in his eyes. It's almost like it's like almost, I don't want to say an evil look, but I think it looks. Hopefully he's not sitting here tonight. Okay. And I like the way the background is lit behind him, because then it makes him really stand out in the foreground. The lighting on him is wonderful. I just like that mysterious look in his eyes, and then his eyebrows are like a little bit lower over his eyes. It kind of gives him a real mysterious look. And like I said, the lighting on this is nicely done.
Intensity, Bill Keaton, 21 points.
I thought this was a really unique shot, and I imagine this was possibly like, dark green and whatnot, but the right conversion, filter, I think was beautifully selected in this because it renders a nice tonal range on the edge lighting of the petals there of the leaves, set up against that dark background, which really pushes it out of the frame. It gives it that nice, wonderful three-dimensional effect. I just think it's really unique, and it's just has these layers of interest to it. So that's why I gave it high points. So I really liked it.
Ghost Plant, Denise Meekins, 21 points.
Guess I was the only one who gave it high points.
We're all in the same boat.
No, we're not.
So you give it a 21, huh? If you can't tell, folks, we had a great time judging these.
No, we didn't.
Oh, Nancy and I did. I don't know what Stu was doing. This is a cool shot. It's tack sharp. You've got the beautiful girl with the angles in her leg. Her arms are they kind of mimic some of the angles in the bridge. The exposure on this is incredible. There's detail in the dress. That's a dress. It's well done. It's well placed. I can tell you worked hard at this to get her posed like that, to get it lit like that. You did some hard work to get this. Very nice.
Purple People Bridge, Susan Bestel, 24 points, third place.
There's some beautiful light rays coming in from the left to the right, and it kind of draws your eye from the left to the right. And then it almost looks like it was taken through a window because the trees in the background are really, and also in the foreground down below, are kind of a lot lighter than the tree on the left-hand side. It was just a very unique photo.
Early Morning Light, Kent Hill, 20 points.
From a pictorial standpoint, landscape standpoint, this is a very incredible viewpoint and formatting on the composition here. The challenge is to do this in a way that renders texture, that has a sense of dimensionality and mass and just substance that's giving you a sense of something enormous coming out at you. Now, I generally like it, but I like to say one of the major things techniques that you can use in Photoshop is restraint. Okay. And I like what was done with the main rock structure. The clouds are beautiful, but I would have held them back a little bit more because they're kind of pulling away the interest on it. I love at the upper left-hand side, just that soft back illumination way off into the distance. It really, sets off those monoliths there. The right-hand side, it kind of distracts a little bit. So I applaud the attempt on what was being done here. It was a great shot. Possibly it could be redone by holding that back a little bit, but it's a very good photograph.
Three Gossips, Moab, Utah, Paul Giglia, 20 points.
Okay. I love this picture. It's I always look for a picture where I can have a cup of coffee in the morning. Yeah, this is it. Just to enjoy what's there. It's got almost a fairy tale feel to it. It's not real dramatic. It's not harsh or anything like that. It's just got to draw me into what's ever happening here and what's ever down that path. It's got that kind of a feel to it. Very nice.
Smokies, Dave Saborg, 26 points, first place.
This is a nice serene picture. The clouds are drawing you into like where the church is in the background. There's a lot of detail in the cross, and the way it's the photographer positioned themselves to get this shot is very nice. Like the cross like also brings you into the church in the background. I think the black and white tonal values are very nice in this one too. We're lucky to get such nice clouds in the background.
Iron Grave Marker, Norway, Dave Korosek, 20 points.
Again, this is another, solid candidate for black and white conversion. I'm familiar with these buildings, and so they do have color, but in this situation, I think it would have just distracted. What really is an emphasis here is the wonderful contrast of striking geometric shapes. I mean, you have the pinnacle of the tower of the old stone church there, the more modern structure in the center there, and then a more traditional structure on the right. So it's a nice blend of shapes, well laid out, and the viewpoint is very nicely executed.
Old and New, Jill Zapka, 22 points, honorable mention.
This is another one that I really love. I could, yeah. There we go. I loved this one. I loved the amount of work it took to get this. Just to work it symmetrically, left, right, up and down. The exposure on the rocks and the doorways going back through is just perfect. The only thing I would do is I would widen it out a little bit, give this arch room to breathe, and I would have shot the bottom of the arch. So from an architectural feeling, from me just looking at it, what's it doing, I'd love to see the bottom of it. I'd love to see about a foot of that pavement on the bottom. Now, whether it was there or not, I don't know. But that's my only thought, but this sweet image.
Receding Arches, Paul Giglia, 21 points.
I like that you put the church down in the lower part, excuse me, of the photograph rather than putting it in dead center, going horizontally. And you seem to capture the tonality really nice too. I maybe would have just done a levels adjustment just to bring the church out just a little bit more, to make it just a little bit lighter. Then the trees actually frame the rest of the photo, done nicely. I don't have anything else to say.
Fort Warden Chapel, Benjamin Williams, 19 points.
A really striking, I guess you'd call it a high key portrait there. Looking at her expression, there's a bit of an emotional tie-in because it makes you wonder, on a mental level, what's on her mind? Is she wistfully thinking of something into the future, something that's going on now? So it's imparting, a thought process on you. It's not merely just, a visual representation. I mean, certainly we appreciate that this is an attractive person and, nicely, photographed in the area here. I would have liked to have seen just a slight more illumination on some of the shadowed areas for some of the detail here. But still, I like the expression and the fact that she's, kind of angled looking up, which goes along with her hair arrangement there. So nicely done.
Natasha Kim Wala. Oh, I'm sorry, Kim. Washaleski. I'm totally going to mess that up in the future. 22 points, honorable mention.
Section, she has her name phonetically spelled on it.
This is a quaint, cute little picture of two ducks. I was wondering how the background got so dark, unless you were out there at midnight, but it looked like there's some flash or light or something, or you just decided to put a black background behind the two ducks. But you caught them in a very, warm, fuzzy kind of, unless she's wants to know what's for dinner, and then, then he says, I don't know idea. Yeah, and so anyway, just a very nice shot of two ducks.
Lovebirds, Dave Saborek, 23 points, honorable mention.
This is pleasantly done. Your tonal value on this building is wonderful. Your eye just kind of travels from like one spot to another spot and just kind of flows right through the photograph. And I like the blend of different textures on here too. You have metal and you have, I believe it's brick on here too. It's beautifully done. It's very pleasing to the eye.
Peter B. Lewis Building, Cleveland. Melanie Plummer, 20 points.
I love the shapes here, the organic geometries, the striking masses of the rock formation. You get this incredible sense of just things larger than man that were have this geographic age to them. But again, we're kind of revisiting the issue that I brought up in the last one. Everything is in high contrast. Everything was sharpened. So everything kind of blends together. And you've got a lot of really good elements here. Very well shot. And the original digital negative is perfect. But with some reprocessing, I think you could really make it more magnificent. There's a terminology called atmospheric perspective. And we as humans, when we look off into the distance, far objects appear fainter and indistinct and blurry, whereas foreground objects are sharper, well-defined, darker. They have a better sense of mass. All of those elements give you a sense of dimensionality, depth. You're looking from foreground to midground to background. Because all these tones are about the same, it's very flat. So, like I said, you've got some great elements here. I believe if you reprocess this, you could come up with a really pretty fantastic image.
Watchers Beneath the Storm, Bob Kowaleski, 21 points.
In your face.
We all took a long look at this picture. I wasn't sure if it wasn't a sculpture. Is that rock this elephant's made out of? Or is it just a real dirty elephant? Or really what it is? I mean, it's a cool picture and you're pretty close to that elephant there. The texture on it, the texture in the bushes around the elephant is really sweet. The only thing that I would have done is I would have shot it vertical. You would have gone his tusks bones in the front there. And you would have dropped down and there's somewhere for this animal or something to stand. You would, if you could have seen his legs, but you would have had some height to this rather than that width. Other than that, that's a really sweet shot.
It's kind of funny because there was a presentation about Africa just while you guys were judging, and the person standing right in front of you right now is the person that took this image, and it is in fact a real elephant.
By the looks of it, you're lucky you're here.
We got.
Okay.
He actually did get close enough that if we were stupid, we could touch.
Really?
But
Wow.
this was actually with my help.
Okay, wow. Very
Hiding in plain sight, Eric Botsky, 26 points, first place.
Yay.
yeah.
Good job, Eric.
If it would have been vertical.
This is a nice play of light going around, and then it looks really good against the black background like this. And then you also have different variations of light within this shot. This had to be fun to do. I would love to know how you went about doing this with how many light. Yeah, I know going around like that, but I meant like with what kind of light you were using to do.
Light.
Yeah, gee. Could be pink. We don't know. Okay. All right. But no, I like the design on this. It was very well done.
Stereophonic, Marge Brady, 22 points, honorable mention.
All right. Aside from the bat signal, okay. Actually, this reminds me of the skyline and the clouds and the overcast. Reminds me of a great deal of. See, Margaret Burke White did a picture of skyline in downtown Cleveland, I think 1927, and this is very reminiscent of that. And then you threw in a bat signal, so it's in that regard, it's humorous. There's value to that. You know, I like the fact that the street kind of, you know, lines up with it and points to it. You know, black and white was the perfect choice, and it was nicely done, and it's good. Thanks for a good chuckle. So,
Cleveland or Gotham? Lance Mayer, 21 points.
The drama in this picture is incredible. The horse's mane is going everywhere. The horse is looking back, see what the photographer's doing, type of a deal. I kind of wish the horse in front wasn't there. I think if the horse in back was by itself, and I realize most of this stuff is because we're Monday morning photographers and we can say, I don't want that horse there. You may not have been able to do that. But to widen that out and give that horse the majesticness that it looks like it has would have been pretty incredible.
I wish I had hair like that.
I wish I had hair.
I'm doing fine, by the way.
Nobody asked you.
I know.
You could live those dreams, by the way. Either way. Wild Mare, Jackie Meredick, 22 points, honorable mention.
Oh, this is a very sweet photo. I love the look in the baby's eyes. And the photographer chose to cut down onto the baby's head a little bit, so you really focus in on the baby's eyes, nose, and mouth. And it's a very sweet photo. The lighting is nice. It's just a sweet, sweet photo.
Mac, Kim Vaz.
Vasilevsky.
I'm sorry, Kim. Kim Vasilevsky. I'm gonna mess it up next time too. Trust me. 21 points.
I like the composition on this. You've got you know, there's kind of an implied diagonal from the lower left to the upper right. So, in addition to the obvious motion of the cascading water, it's somewhat magnified by that implied diagonal there. You know, the shutter speed was just enough so that there's some blur to it. I really wish I could have had a little more visual mid-tone, you know, some more grays there. It's looks like it was done on I believe an overcast day, and in post might have been able to brought that out with some exposure adjustment layers. So it was a good attempt. Maybe revisit it, but not a bad image.
Flow, Kathleen Roth, 18 points.
Kind of a memory kind of shot, if I get this correct. It looks like it's some type of a work area, stones, hammers, that sort of thing. There's something that is built to a different dimension than just a regular toolbox. There's tools, there's things in a bucket, there's a sledgehammer. Just tells a story. And for the photographer to take this, maybe he's walking down to his grandpa's basement or his dad's or something like this, and this is just something that reminds him of grandpa. And you did a very good job rendering that.
Busting Rocks for Wyoming Jade, Kent Hill, 19 points.
I love the simplicity of this photo. The photographer chose to put the grass down in the lower right-hand corner, and then you have all the sand behind it, and then the clouds. The clouds are just dynamic. You can tell there's a big storm coming. It splits the photo up really nice. You have the horizon line is up a little bit higher. It's not dead center. And it's just a simple photograph, but it says so much. There's so much drama in it. And I love the tonality in there, and especially in the clouds. You've got really the good blacks and good midtones, and then the white clouds up above. I really like this one.
Darkness Upon Us, Bill Keaton, 25 points, second place.
Huh?
I love the simplicity.
Yeah.
Again, this is kind of reminiscent of the shot with the old stone church, but I love the contrast between something new, something old, something in the middle there. Again, these particular buildings don't have a lot of natural, stunning color to them, so they're perfect candidates for high contrast, black and white compositions, with the emphasis on the shapes, the geometry. You've got the triangular, pinnacle of the terminal tower, the lesser one of the building to the right, and then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on the left. So it was initially, well exposed in camera, and then post-processing, I think, accented it very nicely, and it's very evenly, finished and very pleasing to look at.
Old Among the New, Chris Goff, 21 points.
I kind of like hang on. Here, I should use it. I really, that's what they told me at judging school. I love the story this tells. I don't know where it's at. Somebody's going to tell me it's downtown Cleveland or something. But the civic sign, the movie sign below that, the buildings, the endless summer, there's something here. There's something that's going to happen that day or that evening. People are going to go to us. This is a lifetime type. I'm going to be in this picture at 8 o'clock tonight. The drama of the clouds, again, we've talked about that they just add a feeling to it, an emotion to a black and white image like that. Again, I would have liked to seen it a little more tall. I would have liked to seen the sidewalk down a little bit. But other than that, it tells a great story.
Atmospheric Theater, Denise Meekins, 21 points.
Okay, thank you. Very good.
Yeah, I really liked it. This is a very popular statue in the Lakeview Cemetery, I believe, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think I've seen it shot a lot of different ways, like really close-up shots of the face and whatever, but I don't recall seeing it just like this. And it's nicely done. It's very symmetrical, um, very nice, and I like the background of the trees in the background. Kind of gives it a nice texture in the background, even too. The stonework shows up nicely, and I think you did a really nice job with the tonal value of the black and white.
Thou shall not pass. Kathleen Roth, 18 points.
Somewhat of a foreboding, a very atmospheric, moody kind of shot here. Got the wonderful highlights of the clouds there. Is there maybe a storm on its way, or is it receding and whatnot? And that softness is in, stark contrast to the angularity of the massive stone piers, and the, steel railings and whatnot. And then leading up to that, you have the massive foreground boulders. So there's a nice visual flow to this. It's, no place I want to be walking at this time of year and that, but still, something to behold, and nicely rendered in black and white.
Maine Lighthouse, Jackie Meredith, 20 points.
Another really good black and white picture. It's from what I'm seeing, it's nothing special. There's a barn over here, and there's a house there, and there's a church over here. It looks like there's a storm coming in, but that tells a story. Did you get the animals into the barn in time for the storm? Are they making dinner at the house? Maybe it's Sunday and they're all over there having church. There's a story here. There's a life, small farm type of life going on here. And that's what you rendered in this image.
Contemplation, Chris Bosworth, 21 points. Did I read the wrong thing? Okay, let me read the proper line. My apologies. It is not that whatsoever. Oh, man.
It's 35.
Yeah, I know. Is that Trenoya Village in Norway? Okay, thank you. Dave Korosek, 19 points. Sorry about that, Dave.
I found this one to be very fascinating. I like the way the light is coming through the blinds. But what fascinated me more was the photographer chose to leave so much room on the right-hand side. I kind of like that. I think if you cropped it in a little bit more, maybe it wouldn't have the impact that it does. I really like, just because it's different. And it's, like I said, the person's face is over towards the left a little bit, leaving enough room over on the right-hand side for him to breathe. But I like that. I like that extra space there.
This one is called Contemplation by Chris Bosworth, 21 points.
Really love the tight aspect of this. Shallow depth of field, illumination in the back, highlighted around the owl's head is perfect. Again, it pushes it forward out of the frame. Excellent, sharpness on the eyes, the beak area. And, normally this owl would be, shades of brown and tans and possibly even gray. But those tones translated very well into shades of gray, and I think it just worked out very, very well here. Nicely done.
Bubo, Denise Meekins, 23 points. Honorable mention.
another character shot. You kind of wonder what this guy does, who he is, what does he do for a living, all that kind of stuff. But the photographer did a great job of lighting it. The hat's lit well, his face is lit well, the shirt isn't overexposed, so your eye is drawn more over to the cigar with the smoke and the light on his hands. Again, it makes you wonder, who is this guy and what's he do? Nice job.
Enjoying a stogie, Jackie Sieski, 23 points. Honorable mention.
The reflections in this photo are just beautiful. Where you have, it looks like, water on a sandy shore with a lot of rocks on it. It's very interesting down below. And I'm interested in that the photographer chose to keep the power lines across the top, but it does add some more interest to the top of the photograph rather than just having it a plain sky. And also the silhouette of the trees along the shoreline. I like that too. But what I really like is the reflections in the water, and your tonal value is beautiful.
Sorry. I was trying to read your last name, Dave, and I still don't know what it is. So that's Rubenstahl. Thank you. I can't read. I public education has failed me. But regardless of that fact, don't mind the power lines. Brad Rubenstahl, thank you. 20 points.
This is somewhat of a, touristy kind of record shot. You might see something similar in full color on a postcard. But, taken and processed as a black and white, it was really well done here. I think, most of the sharpening was effectively applied to the foreground of the church. The really dramatic, dynamic clouds and almost light rays behind it, again, are pushing it out of the frame and taking what normally would be a static large edifice and turning it into, a dynamic kind of almost living, breathing being there. So very effectively executed here.
St. Bavo Church, Dennis Wirt, 21 points.
The photographer, when they take shots of waterfalls, has a choice. Do I want to do this at a fast shutter speed and just see the drops of water individually, and that has a story to tell, something that relates back to the viewer? Or do you want to use a slow shutter speed and create a different story in this? And in this story, he seems to have done both, which is kind of cool. It tells a good story. It tells me that he's there having fun. The rock, the water, the tree over there, all adds to the character of this image. Very nice.
I'm just going to very quickly add something to this. To my eye, there's a really strong illusionary aspect to this. It's almost anthropomorphic. I'm seeing a face at the midline there. There's almost like a mouth with teeth coming down, a couple little dots for eyes there, maybe a little bit of a nose. So it's almost like there's something very mysteriously lurking here.
I want what you're having because I can't see that.
Yeah, we knew we shouldn't have served him that beer.
I don't think that's beer. But regardless of that fact, Henry Church Falls, Brad Rubenstahl, 23 points, honorable mention.
There you go. I know. Is it
Oh,
what?
I don't know. It's my turn?
Yeah,
He just did that.
I went on
You know,
this
I'm in the middle. Black and white seems to lend itself to architecture. You've got the harshness, the stuff that's very sharp. You don't have flowing lines here in this architecture here. The light under the bridge is great. The terminal tower is great. The reflection is great. It's just a very well done shot. But I will say this. There's sometimes when you're entering a competition, you've got to think, how many times have I seen this picture? Oh man, I've seen this dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Doesn't make it a bad picture. Your picture's great, but you've got 3 judges who have seen that as many times, and they may not have that wow effect to it. They'll just go, oh, that's nice, and that may count you a point or so there. So it is very well done, very nice. Just keep that in mind.
Nighttime on the River, Dennis Wirt, 21 points.
Your turn.
Okay. I thought this photo was quite charming. It made me smile. There's so much going on in here, and it just takes you a while to go through and start at the bottom and then work your way all the way around. It's very well rendered, very well rendered. And there's just a lot to see. I mean, that should go on somebody's wall and then just sit there and stare at it for a long time and just enjoy it. It's very well done. And like I said, it's humorous. It really captures your attention, and the photographer did a great job of rendering this in a black and white. I think if it had been in color, it would have been way overloaded, but this is just done really great. I loved it.
I'm Not Staying for Dinner, Jackie Sayeski, 24 points, 3rd place. That concludes the black and white portion of this competition. We are going to be switching over to the pictorial. We are not commenting on every image. However, we are commenting on the first image. So judges, before you start critiquing, just wait a moment to see if I read a name or whatever. And if I do, then don't talk.
Oh, okay. We knew what we were waiting for.
How dare you guys make Eric wait? Do you know who he is? He's been to Africa, man. All right, I believe we're ready.
Okay, all right. Going back to Mark's point about, repetition, very nicely done photograph. Exposure is perfect. Processing is right spot on there. Everything is nice and sharp. It's a good shot relative to so many other photographs we've seen with greater impact. This is not as memorable. Now, it doesn't mean it's a bad photograph, but one of the problems with CPS is that there are so many great photographers here. We do see a lot of similar things over and over again. So actually, when I come in here, I figure, oh my goodness, I've got to step up my own game to, do some memorable stuff. So I continue to be impressed. This is a nice photograph. Use this as a stimulus to take the subject and try to render it in a way that is uniquely different than what everybody else is doing. So just think about it. But nice picture.
Princess Misha in Portrait, Eric Batsky. I got it right. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry. 22 points.
For the record, all the pictures that are like that are mine, so.
There's nothing wrong with them.
No, I'm the one who does all the still efforts.
All right. No comment on this,
They're nice pictures.
unfortunately. Alcatraz Sunset, Mario Manny, 23 points, honorable mention. There's no comment on this one as well.
Oh, no.
I mean, if you really want to comment,
Please.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Your
No,
turn.
it's a beautiful image, man. You got to get out there at the right day, right time, that kind of stuff. The light. I'm assuming this is in the evening. The water's got a little chop to it. The light is just perfect on the sun or on the lighthouse there. The composition is great. You could have either brought that tree in a little bit or left it out. It wouldn't have changed the picture either way, but chopped in half is kind of iffy there. But this is wonderful. Just a really nice picture. Wants to make me take a walk on the beach.
Fairport Harbor, Rick Mills, 23 points, honorable mention. There is a comment on this one.
Oh, the light on this lily is just beautiful. I'm assuming it's a lily. I don't know my flowers. I know a rose and a tulip, but but this is very well done. And it's also, I like the way you placed it in the photo. It's not like straight up and down. You have it coming in from the side here, and it looks really sharp all the way through. But the light is really nice on this one.
Tiger Lily, Marge Brady, 22 points. No comment on the next one. Actually, the next few. Diamond Formation, Rick Mills, 20 points. Is that Maraca? Wait, I can't read that. It's either Maria drone view or possibly Morocco. I can't read for anyway. Mario Manny, 19 points. I'm sorry. Searching for Charlotte, Melanie Plummer, 25 points, second place.
See, you got it.
It did well.
Great Blue Herons, Susan Bestel, 21 points. There will be a comment on the next one.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
I don't know who gets it.
My turn. My turn.
Go ahead, you
Okay.
take it.
All right. Really stunning and beautiful. You've got a really nice, natural, organic progression that leads your eye from that highlight around the pool of water in the lower right, swooping around to the left and then terminating in the mountain range in the back. Now here, I get a really nice sense of atmospheric perspective. I don't believe that a lot of sharpening was applied to that far distant, element of the mountain range. It's a bit softer there. It's less defined. So, visually, I'm getting a much better sense of deep depth of field and mass. And then there's that kind of bonus of the highlight in the mid range there with the reflection off what's probably some ice and snow. So, beautifully framed, wonderfully, processed, and just all in all, a wonderful color photograph.
Tides Out, Turn to Gunnar, Bill Keaton, 24 points, third place. Next few are no comment. The Black Quiet, Bob Koloweski, 25 points, second place.
Congratulations.
Viet Dong Alley, Mario Manny, 22 points.
Yeah, we were wondering where that one was shot. That was very unique.
Yes, it is.
Young Hooter, Catherine Kengat, 22 points.
Oh, those eyes.
So that's a hooter.
Yeah, that's a hooter. Yeah.
Hooter?
Mirror Image, Catherine Kengat, 20 points. Self-portrait with a friend. Paul Giglia, 23 points, honorable mention. Norway Church, Midnight Sun. Dave Korosek, 22 points. There will be a comment on the next one.
Seems like the right time, right place. I'm not sure what kind of bird this is, probably some kind of a hawk. But you've got him positioned right. He's not dead center. He's not too far to the right. He's got his head tilted there. The branch adds to stability to what he's standing on. It would be neat or nice if there was a little light in his eyes. And you can do that with your pop-up flash. And you can take your pop-up flash and you can minus the power that comes to that flash. So it's just kind of a kiss of light. And that will put a little light in his eyes. The only thing that I would change is take that blue in the background, just darken it down a bit. That takes your eye away from the bird because it's the brighter spot in the picture.
Juvenile Red Shoulder Hawk, Benjamin Williams, 19 points. Mika, Kim Waleski. See, Washaleski. I told you I'd screw it up again.
You're good at this, Eric.
Yeah, I'm good at predicting when I'm going to screw up. 21 points. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How about 18 points? Thank you, Chris. I'm glad somebody's keeping me in check here. Chipping Sparrow, Benjamin Williams, 21 points. There's a comment on this one.
This is such a nice, subtle photograph. The flowers don't take away from the bird. The background is really interesting on this. The photographer chose to really make it a very shallow depth of field, just giving a hint of color with that yellow in the background, which then also, and then above at the top behind the bird, it's a nice subtle taupey color, and it goes well with the bird too, makes the bird stand out really nice. The flower itself is very interesting, and it almost looks like tree branches with flowers on it. It's a nice photo.
Perfect perch, Jackie Meredith, 22 points. Stadium at Sunrise, Chris Goff, 23 points, honorable mention.
Nice and neat.
Woodland Princess. I thought that was me. Sorry, thinking out loud. Woodland Princess, Jackie Sayeski, 23 points, honorable mention. There will be comments on this.
Yeah.
Personally, I kind of struggled with this. I think it was a good choice for black and white in that I don't believe there's a lot of color there. Maybe, I don't think. But the shapes are very mysterious. You know, a lot of interesting geometry. They're kind of, captured against that curve. But I just kind of struggled as I looked at it, which in a sense makes this successful because it's engaging the viewer to think about it and wonder what's going on. In this day and age where we spend like 2 seconds on a web page and go on to the next, if the photographer has been able to draw the person into the picture, then they've done their job about making them contemplate it. So I don't know, is the photographer here, can they tell us what this is? Okay.
Just in case the audience didn't hear, it's a art piece that's made out of metal chrome.
Well, you made us spend a lot of time looking at this, wondering what the hell am I looking at here? So that's a good thing. Thank you.
Reflections, Kathleen Roth, 20 points. Next few do not have comments. Bee and Passion Flower, Dave Saborik, 22 points. Yellow Vibes, Catherine Kengat, 22 points. Unfortunately, the text is cut off a little bit. Inner Harbor in black is
Black and white.
oh, black and white. Thank you. Yeah, they did not write that very well. Chris Bosworth, 22 points. Okay. Stephen Chapman, Akron Benefit, Lance Mayer, 20 points. Even though this isn't marked, I'm going to say may as well comment.
This is a sweet image. You've got to take your time. You've got to know what you're doing, what your camera's doing, all the aperture, shutter speeds, all that kind of stuff. The ISO. You blurred the background out perfectly, and the hummingbird and flower are all but tack sharp. I think the back wing has a little blur to it, but that didn't take away how I scored it. It just is a great picture.
Just a little taste. Brad Rubensaw, 24 points, third place.
That one right.
I'm going to say comment on this one as well.
Yes, comment?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
I don't know where the photographer gets these printed at, but the printing on this is outstanding. I love the shot. The frog is amazing. He fits perfectly on that flower. It's just so well done. The color, it's visually beautiful. There's a glint in the frog's eyes. There's no hot spots anyplace. The color quality on the frog is amazing. I love it. It's just great.
The most demented, hilarious frog I've ever seen.
Well, not only did you love it, the other two judges loved it as well. Boren Frog, Dennis Wirt, perfect score, 27 points.
Which I can.
We're going to comment on this one as well. Actually, the next two.
Okay. They want comment on this one.
Yes, please.
Oh, my turn?
Yeah, stop slacking, Stan.
Okay. A couple of things about this. Perfect candidate for color. And I just love the nice, soft lighting on this, which renders out a very smooth tonal gradation from, highlight to deep shadow and some blacks there. The sharpening aspect on the, I don't know, the leaf fronds or whatever that is, it is in perfect contrast to the smoother aspect of the flower petals themselves. Now, there's another thing going on here, and I used up all the stuff I took for the last one, but I'm still seeing things here. And again, this is a wonderful illusionary aspect that I'm seeing. Have you ever seen close-ups of spiders Okay, where they have multiple eyes and then their little mandibles and whatnot. This is very reminiscent of that. So I love the implied illusionary aspect of this, trying to pretend that it's something that it's not. So I mean, this is yeah. Well, enough of that. But no, this is really great. It's very well done.
All right. Now that we've traveled back to the
Oh,
60s,
my God.
Cactus Owl, Vicky Wirt, perfect score, 27 points. This is the first time I've seen a husband-wife get perfect scores back to back ever. And I've been with the club quite a while. Congrats. You guys are crazy.
This one's
Cactus Owl.
too.
Well, either way, regardless of dispute over name, it was still a perfect image. So good job. And then I'm going to say one last comment on this next image. And then, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know who's next to comment. Is that you, Mark?
Yep, me. Another really interesting picture. The photographer gave some thought to this. The vine at the bottom, it goes off the page, but that at this point in time doesn't bother me. I like what it does for the picture. I'll have the texture in the petals, and then the stems coming out. I'm not sure what's inside that little green thing. Stu, what do you think it looks like?
Actually, to me, it looks kind of Borg-like. It's you've got organic, and then it's almost like mechanical.
Yeah, it does look like it's some kind of a trap or something like that. But it's a cool picture. The photographer took some time and captured something beyond boring. The lighting is good. It's just a good picture.
Well, I'm glad our contestants are beyond boring, so that's good. You should put that one on your shelf. Winnie Wedding Passion Flower, Vicky Wirt, 24 points, third place.
There you go.
And we will not do a comment on this last one. No, Vicky's gotten too much. She gets no more comments.
That's the turtle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
I mean, that's actually a mushroom, but regardless, man, I really got to get a hold of you after this. Aging with, what is it? Character? Oh, good. I'm glad I could read simple words now. Aging with character. Vicky Wirt, 21 points. And that concludes our competition for the evening. Just a reminder, you matter and someone cares.
What?
I don't know.
Very well. These photos are amazing. Really did a good job.
I actually say all the time. Couldn't have it without you.
As always,